The most dangerous financial decisions you will ever make are not made in boardrooms or trading floors. They are made in movie theater lobbies, in 30 seconds, under fluorescent lights, while someone behind you sighs impatiently. And the mechanism that manipulates you there, the same invisible architecture, is quietly dismantling your investment portfolio right now. You don't feel it happening. That's precisely what makes it so effective. The decoy effect doesn't announce itself. It simply rearranges reality until the choice you were steered toward feels like the one you freely made. Financial psychology, where money, power, and history collide. Nothing is as simple as it seems. What you are about to understand is not a quirk of consumer behavior. It is a fundamental flaw in how the human mind constructs value. A flaw that costs ordinary people far more in investment decisions than it ever costs them in popcorn. Pause, the trap has a name, and once you see it, you will find it everywhere. In 1982, behavioral economists published a paper that quietly shattered one of economics' most cherished assumptions. Classical rational choice theory held that adding a new option to a set could never increase the relative preference for an existing option. A mathematical certainty, or so economists believed. Researchers ran a simple experiment involving cars and restaurants. They added a third option that was inferior to one of the existing choices in every measurable way. Preference shifted dramatically. The axiom collapsed. What they had discovered was the decoy effect, and the world has never quite looked the same since. Meet Edward, senior portfolio manager, 14 years of experience, a reputation for disciplined, evidence-based decisions. He reads behavioral economics on weekends. He believes he is immune to the obvious traps. On a Tuesday afternoon in autumn, a client walks in seeking a fund recommendation. Edward presents 3 options: a conservative fund returning 9.5% net, a balanced fund returning 11.5%, and a third aggressive fund returning 10% with higher fees. He watches the client's eyes move across the table. The client chooses the balanced fund without hesitation. Edward nods. And pause. He has just deployed a decoy. And here is what makes this interesting. He did not plan it consciously. He genuinely believed the balanced fund was best for this client. The decoy, in his mind, was simply helping someone arrive at the right answer faster. Now meet Jamil. Same industry, same client profile, same Tuesday. She receives an identical briefing, 3 funds, same structure, same numbers. But Jamil pauses before the meeting. She has a rule, written in a small notebook she has kept since her first year in finance: never present a third option, unless it genuinely serves the client's risk profile. She looks at the aggressive fund. Its net return is lower than the balanced fund. Its fees are higher. It exists, she realizes, for one reason only: to make the balanced fund look inevitable. Sigh, she removes it from her presentation. She walks into the meeting with 2 options. The client takes longer to decide. But the decision, when it comes, is actually theirs. Same popcorn stand, different menu. Edward's client chose the balanced fund, and felt completely rational doing so. Jamil's clients took longer to decide, felt slightly less guided, and occasionally complained about having only 2 options. He lost 2 clients in his first year, who went to advisors offering more comprehensive menace. But the clients who stayed made decisions they could genuinely defend. Not because a decoy had made one option look inevitable, but because they had actually weighed 2 real alternatives. And there is a quiet question underneath all of this. If the decoy is invisible, and the advisor means well, and the client feels satisfied, what exactly is the problem? That question is about to become very expensive. The 2008 financial crisis showed the world how this same psychological architecture operates at catastrophic scale. American banks were packaging mortgage-backed securities into 3 tranches. The AA tranche low yield, marketed as safe; the equity tranche high yield, visibly dangerous; and the BBB tranche, positioned precisely between them, priced close to AA but offering meaningfully higher returns. Institutional investors flooded into the BBB tranche. It felt like the rational middle ground, the sensible popcorn choice, scaled to billions. When the underlying mortgages collapsed, The BBB tranche did not behave like a moderate risk. It behaved like the equity tranche, the middle option, the one that felt so defensible, so reasonable, carried the catastrophic losses. The menu architecture that sells a $7 popcorn had been rebuilt at the scale of the global economy. The mechanism was identical. Only the price tag changed. Nobel Prize-winning behavioral economist Richard Thaler's work on mental accounting explains precisely why the decoy effect lands so hard in financial contexts. We do not hold money in a single unified account in our minds. We partition it. The money spent on a cinema ticket belongs to an entertainment budget. The popcorn, purchased in the same transaction, gets absorbed into that same mental account, and suddenly a $7 large feels like a minor addition to an already open tab. The decoy exploits this partition ruthlessly. In investment contexts, when a client has already committed to a fund family, the decoy option within that family feels like a small incremental decision, not a fresh financial choice carrying its own full weight. The architecture of the choice has already done most of the work. Edward knew this somewhere. He had read the research. He still used the structure. Which means the next question is not why people fall for decoys. It's why even people who understand them keep building them. Now it's time to talk about how we can escape this ancient labyrinth of the mind. I'm going to give you 3 strategies, from easiest to hardest. Even if you apply just one, this video will have achieved its purpose. The first strategy is what I call naming the ghost. Before committing to any purchase or financial product that comes in 3 tiers, ask yourself out loud, which of these options exists only to make another look reasonable? This works against the asymmetric dominance bias. Your brain treats the better deal as a status win. When I first tried this, I felt almost foolish saying it aloud in a store. But when I saw how often I could identify the planted option within seconds, I realized the discomfort was the point. It broke the spell. Do this today. The next time you open a subscription page with 3 pricing columns, write down in your Notes app which tier you believe is the decoy, and why, before you click anything. The second strategy is anchoring your own number first. Research confirms that whichever number enters your mind first colonizes your judgment. The decoy effect only works because the price anchor is set by the seller, not by you. Before you walk into any negotiation, any product page, any financial consultation, decide independently what a fair price looks like to you and write it down. Do this today. Pick one recurring subscription you pay for. Look up what you decided it was worth when you first signed up, and compare that number to what you pay now. The gap between those 2 numbers is your anchor drift, and it's costing you more than popcorn. The third and hardest strategy is the 2-option rule, deliberately removing the third option from your consideration before you begin. The decoy only has power inside a 3-way comparison. Collapse the field to 2, and the manipulation loses its architecture entirely. When subjects in behavioral research were forced to choose between only 2 options, satisfaction with their final choice increased significantly, because they were evaluating value rather than relative positioning. Do this today. Think of one financial decision you are currently delaying: an investment, an insurance plan, a savings account, and eliminate the middle option entirely before you revisit it tomorrow. The decoy effect doesn't just manipulate what we buy at the cinema concession stand. It quietly reshapes every financial decision we make, from investment portfolios to insurance packages, by inserting a third option designed not to be chosen, but to make another choice feel inevitable. The architects of these systems are not selling you popcorn. They are selling you a feeling of having chosen wisely. The most expensive trap is the one that makes you feel like you escaped it. Now, here is what I want you to sit with: the last time you chose the large popcorn, the premium subscription, or the middle-tier investment fund. Did you choose it because it was right for you, or because something smaller and something larger made it feel inevitable? Share your answer in the comments below. Let's examine this together. Remember, escaping the decoy effect isn't just about spotting a pricing trick. It's about reclaiming the moment before comparison begins. because that moment is where your real judgment lies.